Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Let's get right into the TA. All right, so I am going to start things off with the fact that CPI did beat, the year-over-year beat, the month-over-month beat, and the core CPI also beat. So all those measurements are a beat, which is, the reason we ended up gapping up this morning and charts went a little crazy. I'm going to point out QQ and SPY have broken up off of this gap up this morning. QQQ is now, the breakout was 373. You are now up at 374. And SPY, all we need to see is a break above 444. The specific level I was watching, 443.90, has been broken. Now, we're going to go over a few scenarios that I think is likely. We're going to we're going to start off with that, and then we're going to go over some little smaller things here. All right, so I'm going to point out the next resistance is going to be the supply zone up at 448.50 to 450. And I do expect sellers to be getting there, or I do expect price to be getting there. I don't know when that's going to be happening, but now that we see this breakout, it's the next logical place for price to go. It's going to act as a magnet. I do expect sellers to sell orders to be sitting there, so do not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up seeing a pullback from there. So let's just go over a probable scenario. My personal opinion is getting rejection off here, coming back to the breakout point and bouncing off of there. I'm going to remind everyone, hey, all right, if you happen to have loaded before CPI and you decide to take the gamble and you are up pretty big right now, it's not a bad place to take some profits, all right? You only do have another $1 of upside until you have sellers very likely stepping in. So do what you got to do. And yeah, all right. Now jumping over here to QQQ, you did end up getting that breakout. I'm going to point out the next resistance we're going to be watching here is the 0.786 fib from the all-time high down to the low. I do expect sellers to be sitting there since this is a pretty big Fibonacci retracement we got going here. So if you do end up coming up here, I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes the case. You reject off of there, you come down, you retest the breakout spot, or you come down and fill this gap right here at 368.63, and then you bounce off of there and come back to revisit where you got rejected from. And then I'm going to point out, you don't have any resistance here on QQ. You have this very minor resistance here on just about 380, but the real next resistance spot that I'm watching is going to be 390, the supply zone all the way up here at 390. Now we do have the rebalancing going on later in the month, so we will be paying attention to that. That could end up, causing a brief sell-off there. But guys, the uptrend is still intact, and we do have some continuation on that. So not only is it intact, but it's still looking strong. Same goes for over here on SPY. If you do get the rejection, I do think you're going to come back and just retest and then go back off to the races to the upside. And right there, we will also have the 0.786 fib, which is right around 451.50. So that is what I'm going to be watching if we do manage to break above 450. And then after that, we have the supply zone all the way up here at 456.70-ish, all the way up to 462. So that is what I will be watching out for over there. Now, I'm going to come over to IWM, and I'm going to point out you literally broke above resistance, which was this 192. Hang on, there we go. This 192, 191.50 to 192 resistance. You broke above there. You gapped up above it. You came back to retest it. And it does look like you are going to continue on your way up to this 194.60 area, which is all the way up here. All right, which we can actually bring that down. 194.50. That will be Henry's target on the board. That is where I think we are heading to. And again, I'm going to remind you guys, hey, if you were loading up down here, we were calling this thing out down here. All right, so if you did end up loading up at the bottom of the range and you rode this bad boy all the way to the top of the range, and now even on the breakout, not a bad place to take profits. All right. I will point out IWM has been stronger than SPY and QQQ, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it go quite a bit higher here. So maybe all the way up here, this 198.40 level, which is all the way up there. So that's what I'm going to be watching over here. Now I'm going to move on over here to Apple, and I'm going to turn extended hours on, and I'm going to point out what we were calling out the other day. You're pointing out that there was a bullish divergence going on here. Well, over here, I was pointing out that the RSI was just getting oversold. So I was looking for a bounce. And if we did continue down, I was looking for you just to come down to 185. 185-ish, and then bounce from there, which would be the last major low. which is where you wanted to hold in order to keep this uptrend intact. Now, we did form this bullish divergence right here with the 4-hour RSI in oversold territory, or at least getting down to oversold territory where you have bounced in the past. Let's just put another line up here. Go a little like that. And I want to point out right here, this is where you had your significant bounce here. And before you found any resistance, it was, a 9% move there. And then we come back over here, you got pretty close to it. You had a pretty filthy move of 4% until you found any resistance, started trading flat there. Then you come all the way back over here and you had just about a 9% move before you started getting your seller stepping in. So I was not expecting this time to be any different. That is just something you will, see time and time again here on the channel. Guys, we're going to just reference what happened, in the past history on the chart. This could be the long-term history. This could be the short-term. All right, right here. This is coming all the way back over to the beginning of March. So we have 4 months of data that we're looking at. And unless Apple is going to end up, completely breaking down here, if it's going to, form and start getting out of the uptrend and going into a downtrend, then yeah, this time was not going to be different. I do think Apple still has some upside going on here. Next spot I'm going to be watching for is 192.50. If it does end up climbing up there, I do not doubt that is going to carry SPY and QQQ up to some important levels. So that is that. The next thing I will point out is ES. All right, so we pointed out, let's just put on the CCI here, come over here. All right, so we have the bullish divergence over here on the CCI, and then we also have the bullish divergence over here on the CCI on NQ. Last time these popped up over here on NQ, I was referencing this over here. Last time you had this, you ended up going, I think it was about a 4% move. Yeah, 3.5% move, we'll call it. And over on ES, the last time you had this bullish divergence here on the RSI pop up, you had just about a 3% move to the upside. Well, guys, just like over on Apple, we were looking for a decent sized move. Even if we fell a little further down, we were looking for that decent sized move to the upside. So even if CPI was to come in hot, bring us down a little bit, I was going to treat that as a buying opportunity. That is just, that's what I thought made sense. And it looked, yeah, all right, it ended up playing out. But yeah, guys, you got that decent move to the upside. Don't be surprised to go a little bit further and then start stalling out. If we're going to get a similar move to what we got over here, all right, we are literally going to be stalling out on SPY right around this 448 level, 448.50 to 450 supply zone. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that be the case. And again, we pointed out the scenarios that we were watching over there. Let's put that back on regular hours. And then on NQ, guys, all right, again, you already had a 3% move. If you go a little higher, you go up to that 376, which is the 0.786 fib over on QQQ. If you get up there, that is going to be pretty much, you're going to match this move right here. So I'm not going to be looking for much more upside without getting a decent sized pullback. And that pullback likely is what I will be treating as a buying opportunity. And I will remember to call that out on the channel, just like we called that out over here. Congratulations if anybody made a ton of money or just any money. Congrats, especially over there on IWM. IWM has been going crazy. All right, so the last thing I'm going to point out over here is Roblox. All right, just like we did yesterday with Baba, we said, Baba, you were looking for an hourly close above this trend line, and during the recording of the video, we were getting that hourly close, which is confirming a breakout there. The next resistance was going to be this 94 level, and then 99 up there. So just like we did with Baba, we're going to call it Roblox. All right, Roblox came up, filled its gap right here at 45 bucks. We could just put that right there. It literally filled it right there. And then it did end up rejecting off of there, and now it came back down to the breakout level right there. I'm going to point out this range that we were in. You can treat this as the bottom of the range. We'll put a little line there right now. You can treat that as the bottom of the range, and this is the top of the range. All right, so that is a $5 range right there, just about. If you are going to match that, this is just a rule of thumb for, range breakouts here, consolidation periods. You're going to match that. You're going to come all the way up here to 477 to 478, which would actually be up there at 478, which that is, it's up here at this resistance. I don't think you're just going to have a $2 move to the upside, and then that's going to be it. You're going to come back into the range. It could be the case. I just don't think that, personally, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think buyers are very likely going to hold here, and I think they are very likely going to push you back up break out of this longer term downtrend you got going on here from here to here. And then that would bring you up to this 47 resistance. So just a little trade idea for you guys. All right. And yeah, with that being said, links are, in the link tree or down below. You got the Discord, you got the Twitter, you got Substack over there. And with that being said, I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.